around any crowded room. The man who is speaking the loudest, waving his hands and desperately trying to hold the attention of the group, is almost never the one in charge. He is performing. He is begging to be seen. Now look for the man who is comfortable in the silence, the man who watches, who listens, and who does not react to every provocation. When he finally speaks, the entire room goes quiet to listen. Why does this happen? The greatest lie modern society has sold you is that in order to stop being overlooked, you have to become louder. You have been told that to get respect, you must demand it. This is a fatal psychological error. Trying to be louder only proves that you feel small. But there is a hidden truth, a psychological mechanism understood by only a fraction of men. It is the concept of internal gravity. You do not need to fight for space if your very presence commands it. Today we are going to break down the exact framework of how to stop being ignored, overlooked, and stepped on without ever raising your voice. This is not about arrogant dominance, it is about supreme emotional control. Are you the man who performs for the crowd, or the man the crowd performs for? Let me know in the comments before we begin. Your answer reveals exactly where your journey starts. We live in an era of relentless noise. Everyone is shouting. Everyone is trying to prove their worth on social media, in the workplace, and in relationships. The modern landscape is obsessed with the extrovert, the showman, the man who talks a big game. Because of this, many highly capable, intelligent men feel invisible. You might do the hard work, you might be reliable, you might have the best ideas, yet you watch as louder, less competent men take the credit and get the respect. It breeds a quiet resentment. You start to wonder if something is wrong with you. You wonder if you need to become aggressive, arrogant, or hyper-competitive just to survive. But stepping into their arena of noise is exactly what the system wants. When you fight on the level of noise, you lose your unique advantage. The Stoic approach to the modern world is fundamentally different. We do not fight the noise with more noise. We neutralize it with profound, unshakable silence. The problem is not that you are quiet. The problem is that your silence currently lacks weight. It is the silence of hesitation, not the silence of power. When you shift your internal psychology, your silence transforms from a weakness into a weapon. This is the entry point to elite emotional mastery. The illusion of loudness. Most men confuse volume with authority. They believe that if they dominate the conversation, they dominate the room. But let us dissect the psychology of the loud man. He speaks constantly because he is terrified of the silence. In the silence, his insecurities echo. Every word he shouts is a subconscious plea for validation. He needs you to nod. He needs you to laugh at his jokes. He is a slave to the reactions of others. Once you understand this, the loud man ceases to be intimidating. He becomes entirely predictable. You realize that his noise is a shield for a fragile ego. The man of quiet power sees right through this illusion. He does not compete for airtime because he knows that words are like currency. The more you print, the less they are worth. If you speak constantly, your words suffer from hyperinflation. People stop listening because your input is cheap. But if you hold your tongue, if you only speak when it is absolutely necessary, your words retain immense value. This is the first shift you must make. Stop volunteering your energy. Stop offering your opinions to people who have not earned them. Let the loud men exhaust themselves. Your silence is not a surrender. It is a strategic withdrawal of your most valuable asset. The concept of internal gravity. In physics, objects with the most mass generate the strongest gravitational pull. Smaller objects naturally orbit them. This same law applies to human psychology. Internal gravity is your mental mass. It is built through emotional stability, lived experience, and an unshakable sense of self. A man with low internal gravity is easily moved. A slight insult, a strange look, or a stressful situation knocks him off his axis. He reacts instantly. He orbits around other people's moods. A man with high internal gravity cannot be moved. He is anchored to his core principles. When chaos erupts, he remains still. People are naturally drawn to this type of man because humans are instinctively searching for safety and stability. If you want to stop being overlooked, you must become the heaviest object in the room mentally. This does not mean being physically large or intimidating. It means projecting an aura of absolute emotional sovereignty. When someone speaks to you, do not rush to match their energy. If they are frantic, remain slow. If they are aggressive, remain neutral. Force them to enter your gravitational field. Make them adjust to your pacing. This is how you take control of an interaction without issuing a single command. The economy of emotional reactions. Every single day, people are trying to steal your emotional energy. They do it through passive-aggressive comments, dramatic behavior, or outright disrespect. When you react with anger, frustration, or defensiveness, you are paying them. You are handing over your power on a silver platter. Elite men operate on a strict emotional economy. They do not give their reactions away for free. Imagine your emotional energy as a highly guarded vault. Why would you open it for a stranger in traffic? Why would you open it for a disrespectful coworker? When you stop being overlooked, it is largely because people realize they cannot manipulate you. A lack of reaction is terrifying to a manipulator. It leaves them holding their own toxic energy with nowhere to put it. The next time someone tries to provoke you, look at them with deadpan curiosity. Do not frown. Do not smile. Just observe them as if you are watching a strange biological experiment. This non-reaction creates a massive psychological void. The other person will instinctively try to fill it, usually by backpedaling, over-explaining, or apologizing. You win the exchange simply by refusing to participate in their emotional chaos. The strategic power of the pause. One of the biggest mistakes men make is answering questions too quickly. When someone asks you something, especially in a high-stakes environment, answering instantly signals that you are eager to please. It shows a subtle subservience. You are jumping when they tell you to jump. The man who commands respect utilizes the power of the pause. When asked a question, wait. Take 2 full seconds. Breathe. Look the person in the eye. Let the silence stretch just long enough to create a tiny bit of tension. Then, deliver your answer calmly. This accomplishes 3 things. First, it shows that you are deeply considering your words, which makes your answer seem more profound. Second, it demonstrates that you are not intimidated by the pressure of the moment. You own your time. Third, it forces the other person to wait for you, subtly shifting the power dynamic in your favor. This small habit separates the elite from the average. It is uncomfortable at first. You will feel the urge to fill the silence with filler words. Resist it. Embrace the uncomfortable pause. Over time, people will learn that when they engage with you, they are stepping into a different rhythm. A rhythm dictated entirely by you. Physical stillness as a dominance display. Watch a man who feels out of place. He fidgets. He touches his face. He shifts his weight from one leg to the other. He checks his phone every 3 minutes. His body is leaking nervous energy. This erratic movement subconsciously signals low status to everyone around him. It says, I am not comfortable in my own skin. You can never command respect if your body language is apologizing for your existence. The Stoic man cultivates physical stillness. When you sit, plant your feet, rest your hands. Do not bounce your knee. When you stand, stand tall and centered. Move with deliberate intention. Do not make sudden, jerky movements. Physical stillness projects massive confidence. Think of a predator in the wild. A lion does not waste energy pacing nervously. It rests completely relaxed until it is time to strike. Where you can sit in the room completely still without needing a distraction, people notice. It unnerves them in the best way possible. It suggests that you are completely secure. You are not waiting for an escape. You are exactly where you intend to be. Practice this. Next time you are in a waiting room, do not pull out your phone. Just sit. Look ahead. Be perfectly still. Feel the power that comes from simply existing without apology. The trap of over-explaining. Weak men explain themselves constantly. They make a decision, and then they offer a 5-minute monologue justifying why they made it. They want everyone to understand them. They want everyone to agree. This stems from a desperate need for external approval. The truth is, over-explaining dilutes your authority. It sounds like a plea for permission. The man who is truly powerful states his decision, gives a concise reason if necessary, and then stops talking. He does not seek a consensus. He does not care if the room fully understands his internal process. If someone questions you, do not fall into the trap of debating your own boundaries. A simple, "This is how I have decided to handle it," is a complete sentence. When you stop over-explaining, you stop giving people the ammunition to pick apart your logic. You become a closed system of authority. People stop overlooking you because your decisions feel final. They realize that pushing back against you is like pushing against a concrete wall. Your words must be the final seal on your actions, not an invitation for a negotiation. Be brief, be polite, but be absolutely firm. Predatory listening. Most people do not listen. They just wait for their turn to speak. While the other person is talking, they are rehearsing their own brilliant reply. This makes conversations shallow and competitive. To stand out and command respect, you must employ what we call predatory listening. This does not mean being aggressive. It means listening with intense, unbroken focus. You are hunting for the truth beneath their words. You are watching their body language, noting what they emphasize, and recognizing what they are trying to hide. When you look at someone with total focus, nodding slowly, giving them your absolute, undivided attention, two things happen. First, they feel incredibly valued, which builds deep loyalty and respect toward you. Second, they often become intimidated by your silence and end up revealing much more than they intended. They will keep talking to fill the quiet, exposing their insecurities, their motives, and their true intentions. You gather massive amounts of tactical information simply by letting them talk. Knowledge is power. The man who listens the most holds all the cards. While everyone else is busy shouting their secrets to the world, you are silently mapping the battlefield. Embracing the awkward silence. Society has trained us to fear awkward silence. If a conversation stalls, panic sets in. Someone inevitably rushes in with a pointless joke or a random comment to rescue the moment. This is a sign of psychological weakness. The elite man uses awkward silence as a tool. He is completely comfortable in the void. If a conversation reaches a natural pause, let it rest. Do not scramble to find a new topic. Just maintain eye contact, perhaps take a slow sip of your drink, and wait. The ability to sit in a tense or awkward silence without breaking your composure is one of the ultimate displays of quiet power. It shows that you do not feel responsible for entertaining the other person. You are not a clown, you are a man. If they want to speak, they will speak. When you refuse to break the silence, the other person will eventually do it, and when they do, they are subliminally submitting to your frame. They are taking on the labor of the interaction. By doing absolutely nothing, you have established dominance. It is a terrifyingly effective technique. Master the silence, and you master the room. The aura of unpredictability. People ignore what they can easily predict. If you are the guy who always agrees, who always laughs at the boss's terrible jokes, who is always available and eager to please, you become part of the furniture. You are safe, boring, and invisible. To stop being overlooked, you must cultivate a subtle aura of unpredictability. This does not mean being erratic or unreliable. It means breaking the pattern of expectations. If people expect you to be angry, remain dangerously calm. If they expect you to agree, offer a sharp, well-reasoned counter-argument. Occasionally say no to requests without offering a detailed excuse. When people cannot easily put you in a box, they are forced to pay attention to you. They have to actively engage with you to figure out where you stand. You become a puzzle, and human beings are obsessed with solving puzzles. Maintain a level of mystery. Do not tell everyone your entire life story within the first hour of meeting them. Let your character unfold slowly over time. The less they know about your next move, the more carefully they will watch you. Purpose-driven movement. Observe a busy street. Most people shuffle. They look down at their phones. They drift to avoid eye contact. They move as if they are apologizing for taking up space. Now, look for a man with purpose. His stride is measured. His head is up. His eyes scan the horizon, not the pavement. People naturally part ways for him. This is the physical manifestation of internal drive. If you want to command respect, every movement you make must have a purpose. Do not wander. Do not drift. When you walk into a room, know exactly where you are going. If you are going to the coffee machine, walk there with absolute intention. This creates a subconscious signal to everyone watching. This is a man who is on a mission. Even in relaxation, there is purpose. When you sit back, do it fully. Own the space. Do not hover in the background like a ghost. Purpose-driven movement tells the world that your time and energy are valuable. You are not a leaf blowing in the wind. You are the wind. Men who move with intention are never overlooked because their physical presence demands acknowledgement. Detachment from outcomes. The root cause of trying too hard is a deep attachment to the outcome. You want the promotion so badly that you act desperate. You want the woman so badly that you become clingy. You want the respect of the group so badly that you compromise your values to fit in. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we control is our own effort and integrity. The outcome is external and therefore irrelevant to our peace of mind. The moment you detach from the outcome, you gain ultimate power. When you walk into a negotiation not caring if you walk away empty-handed, you hold all the leverage. When you speak your truth, not caring if people dislike you for it, you become incredibly charismatic. Neediness repels people. Detachment attracts them. When people sense that you do not need their validation, their money, or their approval, they become desperate to give it to you. It is the great paradox of human nature. We chase what retreats, and we run from what chases us. Stop chasing. Stand firm in your own value. Let the outcomes fall where they may. This radical detachment creates an aura of unshakable confidence that makes you impossible to ignore. The myth of the alpha male. The internet is flooded with terrible advice about how to be a quote-unquote alpha male. They tell you to puff out your chest, lower your voice artificially, interrupt people, and assert dominance through aggression. This is comical. It is a caricature of masculinity designed for men who are deeply insecure. Real strength does not need to advertise itself. A true leader does not have to constantly remind people that he is in charge. The moment you try to act tough, you have already lost. The elite man does not play the alpha game because he does not view other men as a threat. He operates in a completely different hierarchy. a hierarchy of self-mastery. He is polite to the janitor and polite to the CEO. He does not need to belittle others to elevate himself. By refusing to play the petty games of ego and status, you elevate yourself above the fray. While other men are chest-bumping and arguing over trivial things, you remain focused on your mission. This quiet, dignified approach makes you deeply respected by everyone who matters. You become the man others look to when the fragile egos inevitably shatter under pressure. High-value eye contact. Eye contact is the most primal form of communication. When you look away quickly, you signal submission. When you stare aggressively without blinking, you signal a threat. Both are reactions based on fear or insecurity. The Stoic man utilizes high-value eye contact. He looks into people, not just at them. When someone speaks to you, hold their gaze comfortably. Imagine you are looking at the back of their skull. This creates a sense of profound depth. Do not dart your eyes around the room. Do not look down when you are making a point. If you need to break eye contact, look thoughtfully to the side or upward, never down. Looking down is a universal sign of shame or submission. When you speak, lock eyes with your listener. It forces them to absorb your words. It makes your silence heavy and your speech piercing. Higher value eye contact says, I am completely present. I am not afraid of you, and I am entirely comfortable with this connection. It is the quickest way to establish psychological dominance in a room without saying a single word. Filtering your words. There is a profound Stoic rule: only speak if it improves upon the silence. Most men treat their mouths like a leaking faucet. Words constantly drip out: complaints, observations, gossip, irrelevant facts. They think that by talking they are participating, but they are actually just creating verbal clutter. To stop being overlooked, you must become a ruthless editor of your own speech. Before you open your mouth, ask yourself, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said right now? If the answer to any of those is no, remain silent. When you filter your words this strictly, a miraculous thing happens. Your ratio of signal to noise skyrockets. Because you rarely speak trivially, people assume that everything you say is important. You condition the people around you to listen. When you finally lean forward and take a breath to speak, the room will instinctively quiet down. They know that you do not waste words. You have transformed yourself from a background noise generator into an oracle of focused thought. Handling disrespect quietly. The true test of a man's internal gravity is how he handles disrespect. When insulted, the weak man flares up. He shouts, he insults back, he tries to defend his honor. He lets the other person dictate his emotional state. The Stoic man understands that an insult is just air vibrating against his eardrums. It has no power unless he chooses to give it power. If someone disrespects you, the most devastating response is often a calm, cold silence. Look at them. Let the insult hang in the air. Let everyone in the room hear the echo of their foolishness. By not reacting, you highlight their lack of control. If a response is necessary, make it brief, unemotional, and surgically precise. Say something like, "Are you okay?" Or, "That was a strange thing to say out loud." You are not defending yourself. You are politely questioning their mental state. This completely flips the script. The aggressor is suddenly placed on the defensive. They look childish, while you look like the adult in the room. You maintain your dignity, protect your energy, and command the absolute respect of everyone watching. Building competence behind closed doors. All the psychological tricks in the world will not save you if you are fundamentally hollow. Quiet power must be backed up by actual capability. The reason some men can sit quietly and still project immense authority is because they know exactly what they are capable of. They have put in the hours in the dark. They have mastered a skill, built a business, or forged their physical bodies through grueling discipline. True confidence is simply the memory of success. If you want to stop being overlooked, stop trying to hack your body language and start hacking your competence. Become undeniably good at what you do. When you know, deep in your bones, that you are a highly capable man, you do not need to brag. You do not need to convince anyone. Your competence leaks out through your pores. It shows in your relaxed posture, your steady gaze, and your refusal to panic under stress. The loud men are bluffing. They are hoping no one calls their hand. You never have to bluff, because you are holding the winning cards. Build your empire in silence and let your results make the noise. The fear of being forgotten. Let us dig deep into the core wound. Why do men try so hard to be seen? It is the fear of being forgotten. It is the fear that if they do not constantly assert their presence, the world will move on without them. They equate attention with survival. This is an ego trap. The Stoic mind accepts that most people will forget us, and that is perfectly fine. We do not exist to be a monument in the minds of strangers. We exist to fulfill our own potential and live according to our own virtues. When you conquer the fear of being forgotten, you experience a massive release of psychological tension. You no longer care if you are not invited to every event. You no longer care if you do not get the most likes on a post. You are free. And ironically, it is this exact freedom that makes you unforgettable. People are mesmerized by a man who does not need them to remember him. Your lack of thirst makes you an oasis. By letting go of the desperate need to be visible, you acquire a lasting, permanent presence. Commanding space physically. How you occupy physical space directly reflects how you view your place in the world. Men who feel overlooked naturally shrink. They hunch their shoulders, keep their elbows tucked in, and cross their legs tightly. They are trying to take up as little surface area as possible. To project power, you must claim your space. This is not about man-spreading obnoxiously or invading other people's personal bubbles. It is about claiming what is rightfully yours. Sit with your shoulders back. Let your arms rest comfortably on the armrests. Plant your feet firmly on the ground at shoulder width. When you stand, stand tall, lifting your chest slightly. Breathe deep into your stomach, not shallowly into your chest. This expands your physical presence and lowers your center of gravity. It signals to your own brain that you are safe and dominant, which lowers cortisol and increases testosterone. As your physiology changes, your psychology follows. When you stop shrinking physically, the world stops shrinking you socially. You become a fixture in the room, impossible to overlook, simply because you have boldly decided to exist fully. Starving the energy vampires. In every social circle and workplace, there are energy vampires. These are the highly dramatic, loud, chaotic individuals who feed on the reactions of others. They are the ones who gossip, create crises, and try to drag you into their manufactured drama. If you engage with them, even to correct them, they win. They drain your mental mass. To maintain your quiet power, you must ruthlessly starve these vampires. Do not offer them empathy. Do not offer them anger. And do not offer them your time. Treat them with extreme, polite indifference. Give them one-word answers. Okay. Understood. Interesting. Do not ask follow-up questions. When they realize that trying to get a reaction out of you is like trying to draw blood from a stone, they will move on to easier prey. By isolating yourself from the drama, you elevate your status. Everyone else in the room who is caught in the vampire's web will look at you with envy and respect. You are the untouchable man on the hill, while they are fighting in the mud. Protect your peace fiercely. The ultimate freedom of not caring. This is the pinnacle of Stoic practice. The moment you truly stop being overlooked is the exact moment you genuinely stop caring if you are overlooked. It is a psychological paradox. As long as you desire the spotlight will evade you, because desire creates a frequency of lack. You are telling the universe that you are empty. But when you find total fulfillment in your own discipline, your own mind, and your own path, you become whole. You no longer need the external world to validate your internal reality. You walk into a room, and you are fine if no one speaks to you. You are completely entertained by your own thoughts. You are grounded in your own purpose. This ultimate freedom creates a charisma that is blinding. People cannot help but stare at a man who is entirely self-sufficient. They want a piece of whatever peace you have found. You stop being overlooked not by turning up the volume of your voice, but by turning off the volume of your ego. You become the silent architect of your own reality, moving through the world with the unshakable confidence of a man who has already won the only battle that matters, the battle against himself. The path to quiet power is not a technique, it is a transformation. It requires you to kill the needy, desperate part of your ego that begs for validation from a world that does not care about you. Let the weak men shout. Let the insecure men perform. You are no longer playing their game. You are building an internal fortress of extreme emotional control, predatory focus, and unshakable purpose. When you apply these principles, you will notice a shift. The room will quiet down when you speak. The disrespect will vanish. The people who once overlooked you will suddenly seek your approval. But by the time they do, you will no longer need it. That is the true essence of modern Stoicism. Thank you for joining the elite few who are willing to do the internal work. If this message resonated with the man you are becoming, subscribe to the channel. Do not let this knowledge fade. Rewatch this video, study the mechanics, and apply them tomorrow. Now, I have a question for you. Which of these 20 principles are you going to implement first? Leave your commitment in the comments below. Stay strong, stay silent, and build your empire.